Well, good afternoon. My name is Napoleon Bell, and I'm the host of What's My Story. And so we're excited about this story that we're going to be telling today about somebody that I'm sure that you have seen around the community here in Central Ohio. Really, that mover, that shaker to doing things, making a difference, right? And so I'm really happy to have her for these few minutes here to hear her story and to let everyone out there in the viewing audience know more about her. So I'm going to bring her on here real quick. Her name, Miss Debera Diggs. Miss D. Diggs, how are you?
I'm good, Napoleon. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic, and I'm glad to see you and be able to have this time to have that conversation about who you are and what you're all about. Because I know you pretty well, right? And as far as what I know from working with you, but I think a lot of people don't, and I think that's what makes the difference when really hearing somebody's story. So first of all, though, Miss Debera Diggs, now I've got to ask you this first off because so many people call you Mama Diggs. How did the name Mama Diggs come about?
Well, first, I'd like to say I'm honored and humbled to be a guest on your show today. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the just being in a place in a space. The nickname Mama Diggs came from the children. I think we all of us of a certain era can relate to the old lady on the block that kept us all in check. Like don't make me go tell your mama on you. So I want to go
Right.
tell your mama on you. I was gonna say what I had to say to you, and me and your mom can talk about it at another time. So the children started calling me Mama Diggs. I was actually said to a gentleman, his name is Al, and he went to school with my son. He was a little older than my son, a couple of years ahead of him at South High School,
Uh-huh.
and the children will be fighting. I would pick my son up from sophomore, and the children would be out there fighting, and I would stop to break it up. And some older children, young people, they weren't children, they were young adults, wanted the children to fight, and I was like, no, we're not doing that. And so then they wanted to, step up to me in a kind of threatening way. And
Mm,
he said, no, no, that's Mama Diggs. We're not doing that.
mm.
So the children, the young people started calling me Mama Diggs.
Okay. Okay. Well then, and now I think even I call you Mama Diggs. So I think everybody that you just know as Mama Diggs, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put that on my driver's license. So
Right. Driver's license on a license plate, Mama Diggs.
yeah,
Oh wow, very good. So you brought up school, so let's go back some years and talk about did you grow up here in Columbus and did you go to school here? What was it like for Miss Mama Diggs and where you grew up?
well, Deborah Diggs came from Bombingham,
Oh wow.
Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the 50s, Birmingham, Alabama was called Bombingham. Do your
Yeah.
history, young. You'll find out why they called it Bombingham. And Bull Connors, a lot of people left Birmingham, Alabama in the 50s. A lot of people left a lot of Alabama and Mississippi, Arkansas, those southern states, and even before the 50s. My mother brought me to Ohio. When I came to Columbus, my mother said we came on a train. And if you go
Mm.
down to the Columbus Convention Center, you don't see the evidence of the train station it used to be in Columbus, according to what my mother said. But my mom brought me here, and I've been here all my life.
Oh wow, wow. Well, talking about being born and having some years there when as you were very young in Birmingham, Alabama, and for those people who don't know about Birmingham, I mean that's where if you're familiar with the civil rights movement and the bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church, where those 4 young girls were killed,
Mm.
um, and that Birmingham was known for all the bombs that had been set off there, right? I mean, I'm not lying, right?
No, no. As I said, do your history, young people. You'll find out that a lot of people lost homes, churches, businesses, all kind of things because of the color of their skin.
Hmm. Yeah,
Nothing
yeah.
else but the color of their skin.
Wow, and that's so sad because often we find that especially with younger folk, and then some other folk don't understand and aren't connected with that history, and to have grown up there or born there and hearing from you might have been born there, but then talking to your parents, your mother, father, what have you, about that history and living there. I mean, that's also the site of where Kelly and Green Park is, and where the hoses were turned on to young people, and what you see in so many civil rights movies and documentaries. So, but to have grown up in that, or born in that area. Now, how soon did you move from? What
Oh,
age were you?
I was a very small
Okay,
toddler.
okay.
Like, but what people need to understand is that our relatives a lot of times didn't talk about it with us in the room. Now,
Uh,
Napoleon, you got a little gray in your hair, so we grew up in an era where children were seen, not heard. And when grown folks was talking, you didn't sit in the room and listen and get
right.
involved in it. You sat in the other room and ear hustle, like, what they talking about? What? And yes, but we did hear the stories, and my father told us about how, as a grown man, he would have to address young Caucasian children and yes, sir, no, sir. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Mm,
The children, he was not allowed to talk to the children in a different way, like how children talk to adults and adults. No, that didn't happen. And if the Caucasian individual was walking on the sidewalk and there was not enough room on the sidewalk, you got off the sidewalk, even if it
mm,
meant you stepping into the street. And you have to understand, streets weren't all like what they are now, but you might step into a puddle, you might step into mud, you might step into anything, but you moved out their way. I mean, let's remember Brother Emmett Till and what happened to him in Mississippi
mm.
in the 50s. So, we look at these movies and think, yeah, no. Talk to your elders while they're still here.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So this is, within your lifetime, and then also definitely within your parents' lifetime. And so, how did that? And let me ask you, because sometimes people think, it's so long ago, and this, that, and the other. But how did that impact or shape the lenses that you look through based upon whether hearing those stories, or have been born in such a historical location of so much that has happened? Did that have an impact on the lenses that you look through now, seeing things that happen today and seeing things that have happened throughout, from then till now?
Wow, that's a real powerful question. I believe that it impacted it in a way that made me. I watched a civil rights movie, and there was a pastor on there, and he said, "When you see a good fight, you jump in." And so when I see a good fight, I jump in. I don't like injustices. I don't like um, inequality. I don't like those things that make us separate and not equal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was born and raised I wasn't born a Baptist, but I believe I was, probably taught to be a Baptist. My parents were
Yeah.
Baptists. And so part of our culture and part of our upbringing, and you nod your head because I think you know where this is going. We were just taught to get involved. We were just taught to serve people, to help people.
Mm-hmm.
We were taught that we are his hands, his feet, his eyes, his ears, his mouth. When I say he, it's our higher power, and your higher power may have a different name. Mine's is Jesus, God, Jehovah. But the issue becomes, I believe I was created for a passion, for a purpose, for a commitment, and that was to serve. And so, as long as I can remember, my parents had us serving. When you meet people from the South, the Northerners said, you can tell people from the South. They're a little friendlier, they speak, they're a little bit more engaging. I think there's people from the North like that too,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a different it's a different environment because we were raised as a village, as a family, because we didn't have any choice. In the South, we all depended on one another
Mm.
um,
Yeah.
to get by, to survive.
Right. 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 So
Yeah.
you talk about that village, and most importantly, I continue to hear you talking about service and service to people.
Mhm.
So that has, from knowing you, but also I'm sure even prior to me knowing you, you've led a life of service. Let's talk about that. I mean, because you've done so much, and I think sometimes people see bits and pieces, like even myself, bits and pieces. But I know there's a whole history of service that you've been providing. Let's walk us through that.
Oh, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at awards, trophies, certificates, and all the accolades in my home that I have had bestowed on me, um, just throughout the years for doing what I feel is right,
Mm,
and that's just serving people. Um, I don't know. Like I say, I just when I see something, I just jump in. I try to get involved and try to make a difference. Right now, as always, for the last 40 plus years, trying to get people engaged in voting. I don't
okay.
try to tell people, oh, people died for it. I don't believe that some people can relate to that. I don't know how you can relate to it. And how do you, I don't want to bully anybody into it because I don't want to register you to vote. Registering you is just getting your name on a piece of paper. I don't want to do that. I want to get your name on that piece of paper, get your name at the polling place, and get you into the polling place. I want you to know who you're voting for and why you're voting for that person. I
Mm,
want you to understand what that person's role is and responsibility is to you as a constituent and how they make a difference. I just would like for individuals, everyone, I don't care, race, creed, color, gender, sexuality, none of that. I respect and honor your right to be who you are. I will help you fight to be who you are. I will have a no judgment zone about who you are. I just ask that you do the same thing for yourself and others
mm,
because we know there was a time when you could not have interracial marriages. It was totally against the law. There was a time that people couldn't love who they wanted to love, regardless of whether it was a color or gender. And we've advanced so much. But however, but people still are being just
like discriminated against and
yeah,
just,
discriminate. I mean, there's a limit of words that we can say about how people are being ostracized, discriminated against, put down, put out, just not allowed to live where they want, work where they want, love who they want, be who they want, and it shouldn't be that way. We were recently talking about the food and the prices of it and inflation and housing costs and
mm,
all these things. And then like, oh, it doesn't make a difference. It does make a difference. The difference is the people that you put in the seats. The difference is the fight that you get involved with. The difference is instead of fighting with someone about a parking space or about, something that's trivial that tomorrow is really going to make a difference in your life. The difference is taking an active engaged part of what you can. And I'm not trying to say everybody should vote because everybody may not want to. But I'm saying find a good fight. Find your commitment. Find that passion. Find that thing that you're going to get up every day and say, I don't care if I don't get paid a dime for this. I'm going to go out and fight for it.
mm,
Find that thing that you're going to say 365 days of the year, 52 weeks out the year, I am going to put as much as I can into this and do something about it. Take a few minutes because we look at the time that we spend doing things that don't amount to anything. If we took half of that time or a
right.
piece of the time to put toward doing something that would amount to something, it would make a difference. I tell people we need to talk about solutions. We keep talking about, oh, what the problem is, what the problem is, what the problem is. Let's talk about what a solution, what a solution, what a solution, and start trying to work on those solutions. I'm sorry. So you put me on the soapbox. Now
Hey, hey, no, go ahead, continue to preach. I tell you, I'm so right there with you. So I love it. I mean, because you're talking about your purpose and your passion, right? About who you are, and go with that. Don't just be that sitting on the sidelines. Go with your purpose and your passion. Do something that you love to do, but do it every day, right? And something that you're passionate about. So that's truly what you're all about, and it's about that service and yeah, and voting is a big thing because that determines a lot. And sometimes some folk don't understand that, but it's a huge impact on your livelihood and lives. And so, but what I what's interesting and in following you is that with your purpose and your passion, uh, you are very vocal with your purpose and your passion. And so, people know when Miss Mama Diggs is in the room because the passion comes out, right? So, So where did you get all that passion and that those vocal cords that people know and know and say, listen, I'm not going to roll over. I need to tell you something.
I'm gonna tell you, Parsons Avenue Merchant Association was giving me an award, and I asked my mom to go with me. My mom, okay. So we went, and Senator Ray Miller sat at our table, and I introduced Senator Miller to my mother, and he's like, "Wow, you're Deborah Diggs' mom. I have questions." He said he wanted to know where I got the mouth from. My mother looked at him because my mother's very quiet and said, I have no idea. She was very quiet as a child. The thing I do is I can tell people is that, you know how you do that prayer, Lord, thank you for all that you've got done for me. What is I can do for you? And I just said, push me in a room, close the door, and open my mouth, and there it was, Napoleon. It surprised me sometimes. And sometimes I'm like, shut up, be quiet. No, you be quiet. No, I'm talking to you, you be quiet. Myself about being quiet. And then it's like, I don't want to go in the room and be the voice. I don't want to be the one. But sometimes someone has to be the first one to start singing before it becomes a choir. And sometimes
Love
I
that.
say things that other people, you see them, they're sitting there wanting to say it, and it's like, what the heck? I'll say it. Yay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, you got something green between your teeth. Everybody's looking at it, no one's saying a word.
Right.
Or your slip is hanging or your zipper's open. People want to say something, but they're like, too embarrassed. And it's like, why? Why are we embarrassed to tell someone, to be other of you to tell me my zipper is unzipped and or that I got my shirt on backwards? But
Right.
we don't.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Love it. Love it. So I know what the voting piece and that is, one of your passions. And like I said, you've done so much. Um let me ask you this, and this is totally off those topics, but what does Miss Deborah Diggs like to do for fun? What is like, you're away from, going to the meetings and this, that, and the other and doing this passion piece. What do you like to do for fun?
We're trying to figure that one out. I like bowling, but I can't bowl. We went bowling, and the man from the bowling alley came out and said, "We're gonna put the little gutter things in there because the ball kept going in the gutter. Then it would bounce over into the next lane." He's just like,
Oh
"Okay,
Lord.
that ain't gonna work." I tried to learn how to swim. The lady gave me my money back at the Y. She says, "Some people's fear water is just so strong." So she gave me my money back. I tried to skate because that was like fun, flying around the skate rink. You remember Rollerland? Well, I don't know. You got to be from Columbus to remember
Oh
Rollerland.
no,
But
I remember Rollerland. Yes. Yeah.
yeah, so I like to read. I love family time. And I really, as much as people don't believe this, I like quietness. Like I'm sitting in my home right now and it's quiet.
Mm,
I'd love to be able to just sit and be quiet and me and him talk, you
yes.
know, and let
Yes.
him do and I do the listening.
Yes. Yes. I get it. I get it. Yeah. Very good. Very good. Well, before we part here, any last words that you would have to the viewing audience, of whether it be about your purpose or your passion, but um, just what would you say to those that are watching about who Miss Deborah Diggs is, um, and something for them to take with them, or maybe something to ask you when they see you out next, but whatever that might be.
Well, let's see. For my elders, we love you, we cherish you, we nurture you, we protect you, and we learn from you. So please don't stop teaching. As the leaves fall off and the seasons change, we want our elders to remain with us as long as we can have them and to share with us and teach us and lead us and guide us. And for the young people, know that that's where the wisdom comes from, the experience and the knowledge. I know you young people, You want to change the world. You're going to change the world. If nothing else, we're seeing it in all aspects. But please don't forget about those shoulders that you stand on. There are so many Mama Diggs, Deborah Diggs. There are people that have paved the path for all of us to be able to walk down. Don't knock them down trying to get where you're trying to go. Walk beside them, hold them up, and when they get to a certain point, they're going to let you go and they're going to step aside and let you lead the way. But please don't disregard my elders, our elders. And if there's anything I can do to help anyone, please reach out to me. I'm not trying to take any of this that I've gotten with me. I don't know what my children are going to do with the certificates, the trophies, or whatever when I'm gone. But I want them to keep the love that I have for them and all people. But most of all, I want them to remember I was a good person.
Hmm.
I want them to know my mom was a good person.
Yes, yes, hear you. Good person, definitely good person now, and I'm sure that's how as things move on that when Miss Mama Diggs has talked about is definitely a good person, and I hear the passion and purpose, and so we appreciate you for all that you have done and all that you continue to do. I think not only for people in Central Ohio, but I'm sure the ripple effect goes much farther than that we didn't get a chance to talk about. So thank you so much, Miss Diggs, Miss Deborah Diggs, and stand by. I'm going to put you back in the green room, but I appreciate everything you did to today, and look forward to working and maybe we'll get you out there bowling again here in the near future. Be
Thank you,
right back.
Napoleon. God bless you.
All
Bye
right,
bye.
not a problem. Thank you. Wow, Miss Deborah Diggs, Miss Mama Diggs, what a life. So much words of wisdom right there that we heard. So appreciate Miss Deborah Diggs for being on the program. And I'm looking for others, to hear what's your story. So, because we know everyone has one. So thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you again and have a great week and take care.